السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. فاللهم اغفر لنا ولوالدينا ولمشايخنا ولجميع المسلمين أجمعين. I ask Allah Azza wa Jal to make this gathering a beneficial one, to make it from those that testify for us on the day of judgment and not against us, and to accept it from us, to make it sincere for his sake, Jalla Jalaluh. I ask Allah Azza wa Jal to reward Sabilun Najah, those that were behind setting this up. And the topic at hand today, as is known in the poster, is something that is very, very important. So I advise myself first and foremost to fear Allah Azza wa Jal, at-taqwa, the best advice, and all those listening, as that is the advice the Prophet ﷺ would give to his companions when he would give an admonition, and as a reminder, because we're all in need of it. As Allah mentions in the Quran, فَذَكِّرْ فَإِنَّ الذِّكْرَ تَنْفَعُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. Remind the believers, because verily the reminders is that which benefits the believers. We're all in dire need of being reminded, day in, day out. Can you hear me? Is my voice clear? If I proceed. Sabir al-Najah, is my voice clear? Can you hear me clearly? Okay, perfect. So as for the topic, then Allah Azza wa Jal mentions in the Quran, كما قال الله عز وجل في محكم تنزيله يقول الله تبارك وتعالى اعلموا أنما الحياة الدنيا لعب ولهو. Know that the life of this world, this dunya that you live in here, where we transverse day in, day out, laylan wa nahara, Allah is mentioning and telling us about it and its status and how much it weighs. Know, Allah Azza wa Jalla says in the Quran, know, اعلموا أنما الحياة الدنيا لعب وله. Know that the life of this world is only play and amusement, i.e. it doesn't mean anything and it doesn't weigh anything. لعب وله وزينة وتفاخر بينكم وتكاثر في الأموال والأولاد كمثل غيث أعجب الكفار نباته ثم يهيج فتراه مصفرا ثم يكون حطاما وفي الآخرة عذاب شديد ومغفرة من الله ورضوان وما الحياة الدنيا إلا متاع الغرور. So in this verse, Allah the Almighty informs us and he says, know that the life of this world is only play and amusement. Okay, it's only play and amusement. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't weigh anything. And mutual boasting. Okay, وَتَفَاخُرٌ بَيْنَكُمْ. That what it's not, it's mutual boasting among you and rivalry in respect of wealth and children, i.e. we all compete, and the human beings, that constant state where they're always competing with regards to the wealth that they have. We find today the same thing, what's happening today within and amongst the sisters and the brothers, that they compete with regards to who has the most flashy and expensive car, who has the most wealth, who has the latest and the most extravagant house, and the list goes on. So Allah is telling us that this dunya, in that which you're competing in that which you're showing off with regards to one another, it's nothing but what? Amusement and play. Thereof, the grown is pleasing to the what? To the tiller. I.e. meaning, Allah Azza wa Jalla is mentioning here, in respect of wealth and children, as likeness of vegetation after rain, thereof the grown is pleasing to the tiller. Afterward, it dries up and you see it turning. You see this dunya and that which was within the crops, you see it turning yellow. تَرَاهُ مُصْفَرًّا. Okay? And then it becomes straw. But in the hereafter, وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ عَذَابٌ. Okay? And then here in the hereafter, therein is a severe torment for the disbelievers, those that disbelieved in Allah Azza wa Jal. And there's forgiveness. وَمَغْفِرَةٌ مِّنَ اللَّهِ وَرِضْوَانٌ وَمَا الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا إِلَّا مَتَاعُ الْغُرُورِ. And those that believed and they repented and they turned back to Allah Azza wa Jal, for them is forgiveness. They would have forgiveness from Allah and His good pleasure, whereas the life of this world is only a deceiving enjoyment. So to expand, this world, my dear respected sisters and all those listening, is meaningless. It's deceiving. We've reached a day and age where people will kill, okay, and harm one another and take others' life due to the fact that they wish to attain certain means of wealth. That's the stage it's reached at today, where transgression has become widespread because of the fact that they wish to attain and reach that what? That wealth, or to get the extra money that they wish to gain. But forgetting, I should say, that this dunya is meaningless. This deceiving enjoyment. We should be in this dunya to invest, not in the dunya in itself, but in the akhirah. Why? Because if one invests in their akhirah, then they would forget about the dunya and they would live for the akhirah. As Allah mentions in the Quran, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. Allah mentions in the Quran that He did not create mankind and jinn except to worship Him alone. As Allah mentions in another verse in the Quran, لِيَبْلُوَكُمْ أَيُّكُمْ أَحْسَنُ عَمَلًا. لِيَبْلُوَكُمْ أَيُّكُمْ أَحْسَنُ عَمَلًا. To test which one of us is better in actions, better in deeds. Not once does Allah state in the Quran that He has put us in this dunya solely to make a means of wealth and to attain success and to attain high status and to attain wealth and cars and what have you. That's not the purpose of why we've been created. Brothers and sisters and all those listening, you have to bear in mind that you've been created for a purpose. That purpose is tahqiq al-tawheed, to implement tawheed, to worship Allah Azza wa Jal alone as He deserves to be worshipped, and to disregard and leave off any sort of shirk. So the reason why you exist, the reason why you breathe, the reason why I breathe, why I exist, the sole purpose of your existence is what? Tahqiq al-tawheed, which is implementing tawheed, that which aids you in worshipping Allah Azza wa Jal alone. When you do this, then you have fulfilled the sole purpose of why you exist. Now, anything else that you may have with regards to wealth, with regards to children, with regards to spouse, with regards to status and anything else, it's a means of your sole purpose of why you exist, which is what? To worship Allah Azza wa Jal alone. That's the reason why. You exist to worship Allah Azza wa Jal alone. And then with regards to explaining this verse, the Imam al-Mufassir ibn Kathir, he mentions, يقول تعالى موهنا أمر الحياة الدنيا ومحقرا لها. Allah states in the verse that we just recited, إن يعني اعلموا أنما الحياة الدنيا لعب. That verse, Ibn Kathir, he mentions, and he says that is meaningless and it has no value, and Allah in this verse is demeaning this very, very, very dunya that we live in and that we're engulfed upon with regards to us trying to attain so many things. Allah compares this world to a flower or vegetation that has grown due to the rain, كمثل غيث, which is rain that has come after drought. أعجب الكفار. Thereof, the growth is pleasing to the one looking after it, i.e. the farmer. Okay? كما يعجب الزراع ذلك تعجب الحياة الدنيا الكفار. So just as it is pleasing for the farmer when he sees that his crops have been is growing and it's becoming fruitful after a long drought, same and likewise, this world, that's this temporary world, is pleasing to the disbelievers. Why? Because that's their main ham, their main concern, and their main source of happiness and importance that they give is this world, that which they have, because they believe, majority of them or a great number of them, that they live within this world and that there's nothing that will happen afterwards. As for the mu'min, as for the believer, as for the muslima, the mu'mina, then she should believe that, and likewise a mu'min, a Muslim, a brother, a believer should believe that there is something after this world. And this dunya is only temporary. ثم يهيج فتراه مصفرا ثم يكون حطاما. Worthless. It becomes dry after it has turned color. So after the crop has turned into color, it becomes worthless again. Why? Because it dries out. ثم يكون حطاما. Then it becomes dry. يبس. So it has no value after it. So just like this dunya, with regards to wealth, many people we attain, and many people that attain wealth, and they have wealth, and then they lose it. So then it becomes meaningless. Or just like, for example, compare yourselves, or ask yourselves, compare all of those people that have made it, the celebrities, the people that are famous, that have career, the millionaires. Why is it we see and we see day in, day out, when you read in the newspapers and you read in the news, that many of them take their lives after they've made millions and trillions? Because they have not attained happiness, brothers and sisters. ألا بذكر الله تطمئن القلوب. ألا بذكر الله تطمئن القلوب. Verily, within the remembrance of Allah, do the hearts find tranquility? Do the hearts find happiness, sakina, that peace, that inner peace that you find is within the remembrance of Allah Azza wa Jal. Not with regards to this dunya, not with regards to this, to that which is here in front of us that may seem amazing. People are taking their lives even though they have it all. They've tasted it all. Because why? They have not found true happiness. Money doesn't buy happiness. We should know that, and we should bear that in mind. Money cannot and will never buy happiness. No matter how much you have of it, if you're not happy, you're not happy. There's nothing that you can use to buy that happiness, that inner peace, that tama'nina, that tranquility, that calmness. Why is it that you see many times, so that from looking from outward in, from a bird's eye view, when you look at it from outside in, i.e. you're looking on your phones, on Instagram, on papers, and what have you, tabloids, you see that they look like they're happy when they're on stage performing the words of shaitan, singing. When you see them doing haram, when you see them in their fame, whatever they may be doing, and they've disbelieved in Allah Azza wa Jal, they see that they're happy. They smile when they're taking pictures. Paparazzi's coming at them, they're smiling. It's all a front, it's all a facade they have to do to keep their business and their career going. But not knowing that, looking at it from outside in, that's what it may seem like to us, that they have it all, and I wish I have that. And many of us will make these wishes, not knowing that looking at it from inside out, meaning from their point of view, a lot of them are miserable, a lot of them are stressed, a lot of them take sleeping pills, anxiety pills, depression pills, to the extent where they may take an overdose in order to end their lives. Why? Because they have not found the happiness that maybe once upon a time they also thought, looking at it from outside in, that was the life that they wanted to have for the rest of their lives. Brothers, it's very, very simple. Brothers and sisters, and all are listening, Allah Azza wa Jal has given us that which we need. As Allah mentions in the Quran, الْيَوْمَ أَكْمَلْتُ لَكُمْ دِينَكُمْ. The day when I perfected the religion for you. وَأَتْمَمْتُ عَلَيْكُمْ نِعْمَتِي. And I have completed my blessings upon you. وَرَضِيتُ لَكُمُ الْإِسْلَامَ دِينًا. And I have been pleased, and I am pleased with the religion of Islam for you. Meaning Allah Azza wa Jal is informing us that which He is pleased with is the religion of Islam. يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا اتَّقُوا اللَّهَ وَلَا تَمُوتُنَّ إِلَّا وَأَنْتُمْ مُسْلِمُونَ. Allah tells us in the Quran, oh, you who believe, fear Allah the Almighty the way He deserves to be feared, and do not die except in a state of Islam. Brothers and sisters, Islam is a blessing. This dunya that we have is nothing but what? Mere enjoyment and a deceiving aspect that we have been engulfed and engrossed in nowadays, specifically because we have social media, where you can look at someone else's life from outside in, thinking that's something that you would wish to have. And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam يقول, أو كما قال في الحديث الصحيح, Prophet informs us in authentic hadith, and he states, he said, لا تنظروا إلى من فوقكم ولكن انظروا إلى من هو أسفل منكم أو إلى من دونكم. Prophet told us, do not look towards the one who is above you in what? In status, in wealth, in rank. Meaning they have much more comfortable life to that which you may think. Don't look towards them and wish to have what they have. Meaning you look towards them and you compare your life. So for example, I am poor and I don't have much in my life. You know, in my eyes, I believe I'm poor with regards to wealth, not knowing that Allah has blessed me with Islam. I shouldn't look towards, which is the richest thing that one can have. It's unvaluable. It's not even valuable. You can't put a price to it. It's unpriced. It's priceless. That's what I mean by unvaluable, meaning it's priceless. You can't put a price to something like being guided to the beautiful deen of Islam. May Allah Azza wa Jal keep us all firm and make us die upon the religion of Islam. So we should not look towards the person that is above us in rank and in status and in wealth, wishing to have that. Why? Because then it will make us be ungrateful to the blessings and bounties that Allah has bestowed upon us. ولكن انظروا إلى من دونكم وإلى من أسفل منكم كما قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. But rather look towards the person that is beneath you, the person that has less than you. Why? Because if you look towards the one that has less than you, what are you going to do? you're going to realize, subhanallah, I'm complaining today, I've lost my job. I'm complaining today, I've been fired. I'm complaining today, I don't have, enough to go on holiday. I'm complaining today that I don't have, what I wish to get, extra, latest phone, latest clothes. But yet, when I look towards the person that has less than me, I remember and I think, I have woken up, I'm a Muslim. I have woken up, I have a roof over my head. My family has a roof over their head. We have shelter. I have woken up, no one is sick or has fatal illnesses or, some sort of chronic illness. And alhamdulillah, I've woken up, I've eaten breakfast, I haven't starved, I haven't slept outside on the streets in the cold. I haven't lost all my family members. I'm not going through any sort of catastrophe or any sort of disaster, but rather I have woken up and I'm a Muslim, and I've gone to sleep and I'm a Muslim, and I've got all these blessings. I have eyes, I can see, I can hear, I can smell, I'm breathing, and I'm still a Muslim. So what more could you wish for? When you think like this all the time, Ya Amatallah, Ya Abdullah, then it makes you remember the blessings of Allah Azza wa Jal, and it makes you realize his bounties and his blessings that he has bestowed upon you. That's how you should be. That's why Prophet ﷺ is telling us this. Remember, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. Prophet ﷺ was not sent down except as a mercy to mankind. He knows that which is khair for us, even if we think it's not khair for us, even if maybe we're ignorant, and many times we are ignorant in such affairs, but yet we're moving with the waves of social media. We're moving with the waves of technology, forgetting that we have the Quran, the source and the main means of our salvation and our guidance. It's a manual script for us. We should always return back to the Quran and to the Sunnah and realize that this dunya is nothing but just this. It's just competition. It's full of envy and jealousy, and it's full of so many things that will distract you in the sole purpose that you were created. If you want to attain that which you want to attain with regards to success and wealth, we're not telling you not to do so. Of course not. I'm not saying to you, don't become successful, don't become rich, don't invest, in businesses. No, but I'm saying to you, don't make whatever you wish to do in this dunya distract you from your sole purpose. The number one reason you were put here, the number one reason why you exist and why you're breathing up until today is to worship Allah Azza wa Jalla. That's the number one purpose. That's the thing that you should always bear in mind. I'm here for a mission. I've been sent on a mission, which is I need to worship Allah Azza wa Jal. I need to implement Tawheed. Once you realize this and you know this, anything else that I can do, which is going to help me attain the hereafter, which is not going to distract me, but rather is going to aid me, then I should do so as well. Whether it means you want to become a successful person, a businessman, a businesswoman, rich, whatever, no problem, as long as it's within the boundaries of halal. As long as it's within the boundaries of al-halal. So you have to think of it like having a table. That table that you have and you take everywhere, that table, you should not transgress that table, meaning that table should be filled with halal. Draw out all the business plans, draw out all the investment plans, everything you want to do, keep it within the table. Anything else that tries to lure you in from haram, anything else that tries to kind of bring you in and drag you in, say no to it, because you're going to transgress and go beyond that table, which is the hudud of Allah Azza wa Jal, the boundaries of Allah the Almighty. So as for this dunya, it's as if the Prophet ﷺ was telling us 1400 years ago and summarizing it all up. كما قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم في الحديث الصحيح الدنيا سجن المؤمن وجنة الكافر. This worldly life is a prison for the believers. Why? Because it keeps the believers bounded. It keeps them binded. It keeps them, following the rules and regulations of Al-Islam. It keeps them within. Think of it like this. Let's just say, for example, you have a rectangular box or a square or something to this form or shape, and Al-Islam is something that is within here. So a dunya sijn al-mu'min, in a good way, meaning it's like a prison for you, but don't think of it as a prison as if it's something that you're being forced. No, but rather see as these are the boundaries, and think of it as a big garden, a big garden. So this big garden that you have, obviously it's not green, but let's just say turn it here. Okay, this garden that you have here, it's a garden where it has fences, okay? And on each end of the fence, on each side of the fence, there are barbed wires. Now, those barbed wires, if you try to cross them, then you will get hurt. But you need to try your utmost best to fight your desires to stay within this garden, because this garden will lead you to success and it's your salvation. This is Al-Islam. Allah Azza wa Jalla mentions in the Quran, Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu dkhulu fi silmi kafa. Oh, you who believe, enter Islam wholeheartedly. You've entered, enter Islam wholeheartedly. Do that which you want to do. You got so much space. You can go here, you can become successful there, here, there. Anywhere you want to go within the boundaries of Al-Islam, Al-Sharia. And I'm using this as an example. Within this garden, you do that that pleases you and that which you want in order for you to be able to attain that which you want in al-halal, because here is al-halal. So do that which you want to do and attain that which you want to attain within the boundaries of al-Islam, which is the boundaries of al-halal. Okay? So you doing that is going to help you be able to attain anything you want to attain in al-halal. Anything out of that, then you should not do. As for the non-believers, وَجَنَّةُ الْكَافِرِ, they don't have any boundaries. They don't have something that which we have. They don't have the Quran. They don't have the Sunnah. They don't have any sort of knowledge of their Lord Jalla Jalaluhu. كيف يتقي من لا يدري من يتقي? How can someone fear anyone or anything if they don't know who they're fearing? So as a non-believer, unfortunately, many Muslims, many of us, we fall short in Iman, and we transgress and do haram because we don't have any knowledge of Allah the Almighty, whom we are disobeying. So the more you have knowledge, the more you know of your Lord, then the more it's going to stop you because you fear his punishment, Jalla Jalal. So that should be something that we should always bear in mind with regards to the dunya. The Prophet ﷺ also informed us in an authentic hadith, كن في الدنيا كأنك غريب. Be in this world as a stranger. أو عابر سبيل. Or as a passer-by, as a traveler. So we should live in this world, like I've mentioned. No one is saying that you can't attain a business, you can't attain success, you can't attain a fortune. If you want to be a millionaire, no one's saying you can't do it, as long as it's in halal. And as long as it doesn't go against you worshipping Allah and the sole purpose you exist. And we should know, the likes of Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, he was Tajir, one of the richest men in the time of Quraysh. He was the one that freed a lot of the slaves. And so many other, Mus'ab ibn Umayr, and so many other companions, Uthman ibn Affan, they were rich and they had businesses, tijarat. That's not saying Abu Sufyan and so many other than them, but it doesn't mean that that business that they had or that sort of franchise that they had at the time stopped them from worshipping Allah Azza wa Jal, the Almighty. So likewise, it should not stop you from worshipping Allah Azza wa Jal. Anything you want to attain, you want to be rich, you want to be successful, don't make sure it does not stop you. The Prophet used to make dua. He said, وَلَا تَجْعَلِ الدُّنْيَا أَكْبَرَ هَمِّنَا. Do not make this dunya my main concern, that which distracts me. And many of us today have fallen into this trap of trying to make money, trying to make extra money, where we make our dunya and our businesses and transactions distract us from worshipping Allah Azza wa Jal. It shouldn't be the case, O Muslim, where it stops you from praying salah on time, it stops you from fasting, it stops you from giving zakat, sadaqah, and what have you, and all the other wajibat. The Prophet ﷺ told us in authentic hadith, فَوَاللَّهِ مَا الْفَقْرُ أَخْشَى عَلَيْكُمْ وَلَكِنْ أَخْشَى عَلَيْكُمْ أَنْ تُبْسَطَ عَلَيْكُمْ الدُّنْيَا كَمَا بُسِطَتْ عَلَى مَنْ كَانَ قَبْلَكُمْ فتنافسوها كما تنافسوها وتهلككم كما أهلكتهم. رواه البخاري. In this authentic, beautiful hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said that verily it is not poverty that I'm afraid or I fear for you. It's not poverty that I fear for you, but rather I fear for you what? I fear for you that you would be engulfed and the dunya would overtake you, encompass upon you, meaning it will become so much. It will become something that you live for, the only thing you live for, and it will become something that you become so engrossed in that you forget about everything else. And the Prophet ﷺ said, as those that came before you became engrossed in, and then you would compete as they competed with regards to the worldly life and the dunya and the deceptions that they also competed in. وَتُهْلِكَكُمْ, meaning, and it will destroy you as it destroyed them. Rawah al-Bukhari, reported in Bukhari. So sisters and brothers in Islam, try your utmost best to not be from those that forgets about the sole purpose of why you exist, which is what? Which is to worship Allah Azza wa Jal. And of course, we should know that being in this dunya is a blessing. It's a great blessing, especially if you're in this dunya and you have been guided to al-Islam. That's something that we should always try our utmost best to remember, that we've been put in this dunya in order to worship Allah Azza wa Jal, in order to worship Allah the Almighty. Now ask yourselves really and truly, that which you put forth, okay, in this dunya, that which you put forth, if you were to be told that today is your last day, are you ready to meet your Lord? Are you ready to stand in front of Allah Azza wa Jal? Are you ready to stand in front of Allah the Almighty? Huh? That's something that you should ask yourself. If you are from those that state that you're able to stand in front of your Lord, then alhamdulillah. But if you're not, then you should try your utmost best to work hard, to be from those that puts forth good deeds and does more in terms of striving, in terms of working hard, and in terms of putting forth good deeds. Because wallahi, I can say there's no way I'm ready to meet my Lord. If I was told today that today is my last day, then I would be fearful that I'm going to die and my soul is going to be taken away and I haven't put forth anything and I haven't done anything. Because wallahi, the amount of naqs that I have, I fear that I'm not ready. And if I stand in front of my Lord and tomorrow will be the day of judgment, I would not know what to say, but rather I would stutter. And I would only ask for Allah's forgiveness and mercy. And this should be the hal of this should be the hal of all of the believers, that they should be at a state where they are fearing meeting their Lord Jalla Jalaluhu. Just give me 1 second, sorry, let me just charge. Every single believer should be at a stage where they fear for themselves and they fear meeting their Lord, because it should be something that one should always bear in mind, that death is around the corner. And it doesn't matter how much you've done, you should always see to it that you do more and you do more. Because many of us, we live in this world and we're heedless of many things. We're heedless of so many things. So try your best to see what have you put forth before you go to sleep today. Ask yourself, did I do enough? Have I done enough? Is it sufficient? Is it enough? If it's not enough and you haven't done enough and it's not sufficient, then try your utmost best to be from those that says, okay, it's not sufficient, it's not enough, let me do more, let me put forth more, let me worship Allah Azza wa Jal even more. And that will help you, inshallah. It will aid you, inshallah, and it will be from the means that will help you with regards to putting forth good deeds. And it will be a means of you remembering that I'm going to sleep, I'm a Muslim, Allah has blessed me with Islam. Allah has blessed me to be in a generation where, to be honest, brothers and sisters, the generation we live in today, it's a very scary one because so much trials and tribulations surround us. However, it's also a blessing where we don't have to go far to search for our religion. It could be just within a click of a finger, you're reading the Quran, you open your phone, you got the Quran there. You don't have to go to scribes and what have you and, you know, write it down and look for books and go searching thousands of miles to find an authentic hadith. There's apps now that people have made. There's books that people have authored and illustrated and you know, for us to read with some sort of pictures and to make our understanding easier. There's Quran, there's so many things. Lessons of the scholars, it's all online. Everything is accessible to us. So there is no excuse for you with regards to, I can't, how am I supposed to learn my religion? Learning Arabic, I've heard there's apps now that they've made where you can learn Arabic just downloading an app. So there is no excuse for any of us with regards to learning our beautiful religion. But rather you should just ask yourself, how much have I put forth? I know I haven't put forth anything. So ask yourself, like, what have you put forth? If you put forth something, if you know you put something forth for the sake of Allah, and it's sincere, then ask Allah Azza wa Jal to accept it from you and ask Allah to make it sincere. If you've put forth nothing, you haven't done anything with regards to sadaqah, zakat, doing anything for the sake of Islam, you haven't made any sacrifices, then try your best to change. Remember, we live in a day and age where many of us haven't really have to even made, we didn't have to, and we are not going to have to most likely make any sort of big sacrifices. Think of it at the time of the companions, radiallahu anhu. Abu Hudayfa, the one that was known, where he fought battle in the first battle of Badr. he fought against his own father and his own uncles, and he was a Muslim, but yet he was firm. That's a sacrifice he had to make. He lost his father in that battle. In that battle of Badr, he lost his father, and he lost both his uncles, and yet he still carried on. So that's a big sacrifice. What have you had to put forth? What did you do for the sake of Islam? Ask yourself, what have you made with regards to sacrifice? Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, all of his wealth, he put forth for the sake of Islam. The Prophet ﷺ, and the list goes on. But what have you actually had to sacrifice? Because many of us, we walk upon this earth and we transverse upon this earth as if we are promised Jannah. And the Mubashirun, the 10 that were promised Jannah and they were guaranteed, wallahi, they used to cry. Umar ibn Khattab was known. He would cry at times when he would do a good action. And many of them, they would cry. And they would get asked, why are you crying? And then they would respond saying that they don't know whether it's going to be accepted. After they would do action, they would get emotional and they would cry. And it would be difficult upon them. And they would fear for themselves. Look at when Hudayfa ibn Yaman was known, the one that would ask the question, that he would ask the Prophet ﷺ regarding the people that were there from the munafiqun, the hypocrites. As soon as everyone found out that Hudayfa had the list, they hastened towards him to find out if they were on that list, even though they had been informed that they were promised Jannah. But look at their state, because they're always fearing that it's not enough. What they've done is not enough, even though they've been given the green card, which most of us today, we act as if we have been given that green card when we haven't been given any green card. But we transverse upon the earth as if we are promised Jannah, as if we're entitled to Jannah. So bear in mind all the time, be humble and always think that you haven't done enough. If you always think you haven't done enough and you haven't put forth anything, then inshallah it should make you strive even more. Now, with regards to that which the Prophet ﷺ informs us in an authentic hadith, the Prophet ﷺ tells us in authentic hadith that, which we mentioned, kun fi dunya ka'annaka gharib, be in this world as if you were a stranger. If we bear this in mind, then it would be the answer to a lot of our questions, that which we, or a lot of our desires and a lot of our lusts, because the Prophet ﷺ says in also an authentic hadith, حُفَّتِ الْجَنَّةِ بِالْمَكَارِهِ, that the Jannah, the paradise, that bi'idhnillah, Allah would grant us, may Allah grant us all Jannat al-Firdaus al-A'la, through His mercy, is surrounded with things that we dislike. So for you to carry on being upon steadfastness, for you to carry on being upon someone that's worshipping Allah, a devout worshipper, then it's something that you have to do something where you dislike. You have to, abstain from certain things that maybe your soul is trying to push you, or your desires is trying to lure you in. So حُفَّتِ الْجَنَّةِ بِالْمَكَارِهِ. So what surrounds it is things that we dislike. We don't, generally speaking, as a human being, you wouldn't like to repeat something every single day for 50 years, 60 years, 30 years, where you're praying 5 times a day, meaning it's something that your soul, or your desires, I should say, would dislike to be upon purity, upon steadfastness. It's difficult, okay? Your soul dislikes to always be someone that is upright, someone that's practicing. So that's generally speaking how we have been created as human beings. Human beings have been created weak. We always want to give in to ourselves, to laziness. We always want to give in to following our desires and worshipping our desires. But if you're a Muslim and you're a believer, then you're going to fight and strive and fight and strive. So that's why Jannah has been surrounded by things that are difficult, generally speaking. وَحُفَّتِ النَّارِ بِالشَّهَوَاتِ. And this hadith is in Sahih Muslim, it's authentic. And that which surrounds the hellfire, Jahannam, is desires. So meaning, it's if you give in to your desires, and those people that worship their desires, they would enter the fire. But why? Because that which surrounds Jahannam, or the hellfire, is things like adultery, fornication, and haram, and all of that which their desires desire. Okay? So if we know this as well, then it should make us be from those that strives to abstain from the haram and to enjoying the good and forbid the evil. The Prophet ﷺ informs us in an authentic hadith, another authentic hadith, which I think it's something that is very, very important. But before we talk about that, we should speak about and mention and highlight the fact that we're living towards the last time. Day of judgment is around the corner, brothers and sisters. Wallah, it's a reminder for myself, first and foremost, and all those listening. Just recently, we've seen our brothers and sisters, may Allah aid them and grant them patience and give them victory with regards to the state that they're in, which is very difficult. Allahumma ansur ikhwana al-mustad'afina fi Syria, fi Turkey, fi kulli makan. May Allah aid them, those that are in Turkey and Syria and other places, those that have been afflicted, and a catastrophe with regards to the earthquake that has come knocking at their door all of a sudden. It came suddenly. No one prepared for it. No one knew what it was. No one knew where it was coming from. It just happened. Brothers and sisters, ask yourself, 10 seconds. Count to 10. 10 seconds. And all of those people, Allah Azza wa Jal takes their souls. Does it not show you and me and everyone else listening the power of Allah Azza wa Jal? Within 10 seconds, 8.9, I believe, up until 9 magnitude of an earthquake. 10 seconds. 10 seconds. And the Prophet ﷺ informed us in authentic hadith, من علامات الساعة الزلازل. Okay? الزلزلة والزلازل. من علامات الساعة تقارب الزمان. From the signs of the last day is the fact that the time will come closer to each other. I personally believe that for me, what it feels like was 3 days ago was Yawm al-Jum'ah, or just yesterday was Yawm al-Jum'ah, meaning the last week. And then today it's Monday. It's going to be Friday within a couple of days. But when Friday comes, it's going to feel like as if it's just 1 or 2 days, meaning the time has become close, where a week goes by like a second, and a month goes by like a minute, and a year goes by like, let's say, hours. That's how it feels. It feels so strange, the fact that time just flies. But this is from the alamat as-sa'a as-sughra. And then also from the signs, the minor signs as well, is earthquakes will be prevalent. Okay? Kathrat al-zalazil, that the earthquake will be prevalent, that they would be happening frequently. It happened a couple of weeks back, the first earthquake. And then a couple of days later to a week, another one happened within the same country in Turkey. And then just recently, I've seen it happen in Wales. And also another one happened somewhere else in Asia. All within less than 2 months. So this is all min alamat as-sa'a. All of these are from the signs of Allah Azza wa Jal, trying to warn us, trying to give us signs and ayat, proofs. This is a sign. Allah Azza wa Jal is giving us signs so that we may, inshallah, لَعَلَّكُمْ تَعْقِلُونَ, so that we may comprehend, لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَدَبَّرُونَ, so that we may ponder, لَعَلَّكُمْ تَعْمَلُونَ, so that we can act, لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ, so that we can fear Allah Azza wa Jal. These are all signs. So don't make yourself be heedless of these things and carry on living as if nothing has happened. Try and change your life and try and be from those people before the major signs, before the major 10 signs happen. Be from those that changes their ways. If you're from someone that doesn't pray, try your best. We all make mistakes. Each and every one of us, we all make mistakes. Our iman goes up and down, it fluctuates. Our iman maybe sometimes is very low, where we don't do that which we need to do. But get yourself up. Say to my believers, the ones that have transgressed against themselves with regards to doing sins, don't despair from the mercy of Allah. Inna Allah yaghfiru dhunuba jami'a. Innahu huwal ghafurur rahim. Allah forgives the one that repents, and He is the oft-forgiven and the most merciful. So try your best to wake up. Make today be the day where you change yourself. Ramadan is less than a month away. Be from those that tries to change their ways, trying to change that which you're upon. Don't be from those that just sees all of these signs, reads the news and sees what's happening, and you're still living the same life and the same way that you were living 15 or 10 or a year ago. Change. Be a Muslim. Al-Muslim yakun fatin. A believer should be someone that is what? Always aware and always sharp. Try to change your issue. If you're not someone that, fears Allah, or you don't pray and you don't worship Allah the way you should, change it and adhere to the Sharia, adhere to Islam. Another authentic hadith, the Prophet ﷺ informs us, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَقْبِضُ الْعِلْمِ انْتِزَاعًا يَنْتَزِعُهُ مِنَ النَّاسِ. Allah the Almighty doesn't take away this knowledge by the way of taking away and snatching the souls of the people. No, it doesn't happen like that. Okay? وَلَكِنْ, however, يَقْبِضُ الْعِلْمِ بِقَبْضِ الْعُلَمَاءِ. However, He takes away this knowledge, and it slowly starts to disintegrate and to go away, slowly, by the death of the scholars. حتى إذا لم يبقى عالما أو في الرواية لم يترك عالما, until there won't remain any scholars. اتخذ الناس رؤوسا جهالا. The people take as their leaders and those that they go back to with regards to Islamic affairs, misguided people. And like we see it today, people that become YouTubers, people that have never studied any sort of knowledge, people that are famous, they become the ones that people go back to with regards to their religious affairs. Why? Because the scholars are passing away. People that possess this knowledge, that have given years until their beards have become white, they're the ones that are passing away. And then the people take the other ones that are misguided or ignorant as their leaders. فَسُئِلُوا, and then they will ask these misguided people, they will ask these people that have no knowledge. فَأَفْتَوْا, the people, they won't have shyness. Those that have big following, those that are ignorant, they will answer and give verdicts. بِغَيْرِ عِلْم, without any knowledge. فَضَلُّوا وَأَضَلُّوا, they're misguided and they will also misguide. So with this hadith, we benefit and we learn that min alamat as-sa'a amwat al-ulama, also another hadith, that from the signs as well, from the signs of the Day of Judgment, is that many scholars would what? Will pass and they will die. But this is a sign also, and a wake-up call for all of us, that we should try our most best to be from those that tries to seek knowledge and benefit. Why? Because al-ilm nur wal-jahl da'. كما قال ابن قيم in his manzuma, in his poem, the ilm is nur, is light. Having knowledge is a means of light. You have that light. Think of it as you being in a forest, and if you have knowledge, you have the torch that will lead you out of the forest into what? Safety. And if you're ignorant, then you will be afflicted with a disease, and you have a disease, so you won't have that torch, you won't have that light. Therefore, you would remain in the forest forever until you go crazy. Why? Because you are misguided, or you are ignorant, I should say, and you don't have the tools that would enable you and help you and aid you to be able to overcome that forest and to go to safety. Knowledge is something that's heavy, and it's not something that you should take lightly. We should utilize our time that we have specifically when you're young, specifically when you're still alive, specifically when you have good health, specifically when you're free, and specifically before you age. As the Prophet advises, اغتنم خمس قبل خمس. That hadith, take 5 before 5, and these are the 5. So if you have any of these, then it means Allah has still given you an opportunity to get closer to Him. So try and remember that we're only in this dunya, there's only one shot. We're only in this dunya once. It's not like an exam that you do for, a test or an exam, A-levels or GCSEs or high school, uni, or any sort of exam or theory or practical. No, this is the dunya where you have only one shot, one chance. If you get it wrong, you get it wrong. So don't mess it up. And on that note, inshallah, we'll end. And a small reminder for myself, first and foremost, and all those listening, that remember the hadith the Prophet ﷺ informed us of, where he's mentioned and he said, يَتْبَعُ الْمَيِّتِ ثَلَاث أَهْلُهُ وَمَالُهُ وَعَمَلُهُ. That each and every single deceased person, when they're being led to their janazah, there'll be 3 things that will follow them: their wealth, their family members, and their actions. And Ibn Rajab, rahimahullah, when he explains this hadith, he mentions and he states that each and every single person in this dunya doesn't live except with these 3. They have a family, whether they're close to them or not, whether it's friends or blood. They have a family. You have some sort of people that you live with, okay, that you keep in contact with. And your wealth, you have some sort of possession, whether it's a lot or little, you have something. And that which you do in this dunya, whether it's good actions or bad actions. So you live with these 3 things. So when you're going to your grave and you're walking to, and you're being led to your grave and you're being carried, and you've been shrouded and you're going to your grave, when you get put inside your grave, all the way up until before you get put inside your grave, these 3 things follow you. فَيَرْجِعِ اثْنَانِ. However, 2 things are going to come back and they won't go enter your grave with you. What are they? Your wealth and your money. Your wealth and your family members. Your wealth, someone else has to take it. Someone else is going to inherit it. Whether it's little or a lot. It doesn't matter what it is. Even if it's just a necklace. Even if it's just a ring. Someone's either going to take it. It's not going to come with you in your grave. It's not going to benefit you, even if it was to be put with you. And your family members, they have to carry on living their lives. They're going to remember you, maybe good or bad, maybe for a long period of time or forever, or for a short period of time, depending on how you lived your life and how you was with them. They're going to leave you. They're not going to enter the grave with you. يَبْقَى وَاحِدْ عَمَلُهُ. That which stays with you and benefits you, or testifies for you or against you, I should say, would be your actions. So if you were min ahl as-su'ada, If you're from the people of the righteous people, the people that were upon happiness and steadfastness, then it's going to benefit you, your actions. And if you're from the people that were what? Ahlul ashqiya. If you're from the people that used to transgress and were rebellious and used to cause evil on the earth, then it's going to be something that will testify against you. So try your best to put forth good deeds. Try to put forth good deeds. اعلموا أنما أموالكم وأولادكم فتنة. Know that verily your wealth and your children are fitna for you. So know that the reward is with Allah Azza wa Jal. And that which will bring about success will be the actions you put forth. If you have children, that which you taught them, if you made them be inclined to the deen, then they will benefit you once you die. If you taught them nothing but dunya, they're not going to be from those that remember and make dua for you, unless you taught them and raised them upon Islam. So always remember that we're in this earth for a purpose. لِيَبْلُوَكُمْ أَيُّكُمْ أَحْسَنُ عَمَلًا. So that Allah will test which one of you is better in doing good deeds. Don't let this dunya overtake you and make you forget the purpose that you were created for. سبحانك اللهم بحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين. And apologies for the inconveniences. بارك الله فيكم والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.